Hello guys, and if you actually read the posts I put on my channel, you know why I'm doing this instead of COTW 2 Chapter 2. It's because I just don't feel like I can finish it before I head to bed today, and I wouldn't be able to get it up tomorrow because I don't have time to record during the day. Only at midnight, excuse me. But yeah, this one's real, and as I said, also, Chapter 2 is about 50% longer than the first chapter, which in itself was pretty long, I think. I'm actually going to check right now how long it was. It was 27 minutes and 31 seconds. But yeah, and now obviously that includes whatever I was doing at the ends of the video, but yeah. This is going to be the short fic. I'm reading one of the short fics. I don't know if I'm going to read multiple today. I might. I think there's some I want to read, but this may be the only one. This one's called Celestia's Extra Special Day. And here's a description. It's that day, the one day of the year that Celestia dreads more than anything in the world. And too bad for her, everyone seems intent on making her go through such an awful occasion. Well, at least she gets cake at the end of it. This should be fun. Just a bit of an interjection. I don't know if it's just me, but does it bother you when, like, it's one shot, only one chapter, and yet they call it Chapter 1 and then chapter title? Is it just me who that bothers? I'm probably alone on this, but then again, I don't know, but it just kind of bothers me. Anyways, let's get on with this. Chapter 1, The Cake is a Lie. Today was the day, the one she dreaded all year. The day that made her shiver in fear, just of the ramifications. The day she just wanted to sleep in and forget all about. But, of course, it wasn't that easy. It was never that easy when it came to something like this. So, like every other year, Celestia hid. Not the most adult thing to do, but hey, better than being out in the open with the possibility of ambush always a threat. Dark corners, shadow-ridden hallways, and any tucked-away rooms in the castle became her new abode on this very specific of days. Whenever she felt she was being watched, she'd move to another location, always on the lookout for new threats. But no matter how well Celestia concealed herself, or masked her movements, that feeling as if someone was watching her, close and intently, didn't leave. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end every second. Sooner or later, she was going to be found, and then, she'd truly have Tartars to pay. Celestia ran down the hall in a sprint, fervent eyes scanning for anything suspicious. Too many times she's gone through these trials and tribulations. Too many times she's had to bear with the constraining nonsense of this day, year after year. But not today. Today she would avoid the pitfalls, go past the trenches, and jump over the walls to freedom. Unluckily for Celestia, her personal imagery monologue had brought her guard down for a precious second. A second that gave her enemy ample time to spring their trap. "Oh, Tia, where are you?" Luna called out from the hallway, peering into the shadows of the corners in search of her sister. "Come on out, Tia, every pony is waiting for you." A cold sweat ran down Celestia's back as a shiver racked through her spine. Gulping because of a lump that had suddenly caught in her throat, Celestia's eyes scanned the hallway for any avenues of escape. There was no way she was going to let her menace of a sister drag her into the pit of Tartarus like every other year. This time, she was going to get out of it the immature and rather foolish way. "Never!" Celestia shouted, making a mad dash for the exit down the hall. Passing by Luna while trotting like the wind, Celestia yelled over her shoulder, "You'll never take me alive!" "Seriously, Tia, do we have to do this every year?" Luna asked, Celestia already rounding the corner in a flurry of stomping hooves. "I take that as a yes," Luna sighed, taking to the air to chase after her sister. Celestia heard her sister following in her wake and doubled her pace to outrun her sister. She made a mental note to herself, eat less cake and take a few walks around the castle every once in a while. Packing extra weight was not helping her get away. "I'm not going back there," Celestia called over her shoulder at the fast-approaching Luna. "You do know that you can fly and teleport, right?" Luna asked, though those words were lost on Celestia as she rounded another corner. Frowning, Luna muttered, "Of course you don't." "Nearly There! Celestia whispered to herself, sight of the exit finally coming into view at the end of the hallway. The hope of escape, so close at hoof, gave her the extra little burst of energy she needed to push through and go through the doors. "Freedom! Sweet, glorious, and immaculate freedom!" she exclaimed. "Surprise!" Celestia blinked, staring at the small group of ponies before her. This wasn't escape, it was a trap. "No!" Celestia screamed to the high heavens, on her knees and shaking a hoof at the ceiling. "Hey, Twi, Celestia all right?" Pinkie whispered to Twilight. "Yeah, I'm pretty sure," Twilight answered, with a shrug of the shoulders. "I mean, why wouldn't she? It's her birthday, after all." A moan escaped Celestia's mouth as she laid face down on the floor at the mention of that word. "My sister is just a little bit apprehensive about birthday parties," Luna explained, stepping through the doorway and over Celestia's body. "She's not the biggest fan." "You tricked me," Celestia stated, still not bothering to get up from the floor. "Only because I knew you were going to be uncooperative," Luna said with a smirk, making her way to the main six. "And because it's just so easy." "So, we gonna get this party started or what?" Dash asked eagerly. "Hold it, Sugar Cube. The princess has to blow out the candles on her birthday cake first," Applejack reminded her, wearing a party hat atop her usual Stetson. With those words, Pinkie Pie toted the cake to the table the girls were seated at, a certainly delicious chocolate pastry with a plethora of lighted candles atop it. There were so many, the others feared Pinkie might catch her mane on fire. A begrudging Celestia was dragged to the table by Luna and forced to take a seat. The entire time her face showed disdain, and her entire being was filled with dread. When the cake arrived before her, basically a fireplace with a treat underneath, her expression had fallen to new levels of despair. Even if the cake before her was filled with a deadly toxin that could kill her with one lick, she still would not be as contemptible towards the birthday cake as she is now. "Well, Princess Celestia, that sure does look like a delicious cake," Rhodey noted, trying to avoid the fact that the top layer was covered by candle wax. The forest of candles were a blinding sight, but did little to lighten Celestia's mood. "Yeah, I can't wait to eat," Fluttershy said, one of the only ponies in the room to sense the growing amount of awkwardness centered around Celestia and the cake before her. Let's just get this over with so I can avoid having to remember this any longer," Celestia said, head hanging so low the heat from the candles was threatening to singe her eyebrows off. "Okay, every pony, let us begin," Twilight said, the rest of the mares joining in as she started the song. "Happy birthday to you." Celestia had heard this song so many times before. Like always, it only got more annoying with each passing year. "Happy birthday to you." Really, how was it that in over 1,000 years' time, that song stayed exactly the same? Did no pony else come up with something better or more original? "Happy birthday, dear Princess Celestia." Here came that momentary time-lapse where Celestia got to think over the past year in fond memory. Well, that had happened for normal ponies. Instead, she remembered with a certain loathing that came from living way too long about her entire lifespan. Hard to believe she did it in only 2 seconds. "Happy birthday to you." Every pony cheered while Celestia just stared at the cake with a despaired expression, hinged on the edge of complete contempt. "Well, Tia, aren't you going to blow out your candles?" Luna asked, with a devious smile playing out on her face. Celestia scowled at her sister. Might as well." Taking in a deep breath, Celestia blew on the extremely large multitude of lit candles. The effort only blew out less than a dozen of the 1,000 or so candles. Frowning, Celestia tried again, and again, barely making a dent into the blaze. Luna and the other mares giggled, Celestia totally unaware that the candles were joke candles that wouldn't blow out.
2 hours later.
"Finally! Done!" Celestia sighed in relief, the last candle being snuffed out by her breath. The mares had already left, leaving only Luna to keep her sister company. Luna blinked, rubbing the tiredness out of her eyes after staring at the brightly lit candles for so long. Now there was a mountain of wax on the cake, actually squishing the pastry to a pancake. "Yeah, I can see why you don't like birthdays much," Luna noted, yawning audibly. At least I still get cake, Celestia said, somewhat relieved. Taking a knife out, she cut a slice off and lifted it up to gobble eagerly at. She got a mouthful of melted candle wax to chew on instead. Letting the half-chewed glob of wax fall from her mouth, Celestia muttered, "And of course, even I don't get that on this day. Just great." And that was Celestia's extra special day. I'm so tired. But that was fun. I liked it. And cue bloopers. The day that made her sliver. The day that made her sliver. The day that made her sliver in fear. The day that made her shiver in fear, just of ramifications. Thank goodness I pronounced that right. Oh wait, this is before COTW Chapter 2. Dark corners, shadow-ridden alleyways. Alleyways. Oh, that was the best one. That's the best one this year. This is the part where I go back to check my channel to see how many were actually this year. I'm still checking. Two! Go me! Oh dear! Oh my god! Why was that noise? And no, I need to get the Luna voice. The Luna voice is just going to be bad for all of ever. I have not used the Luna voice in so long. And by that I mean since last night, but the last night one was... Actually, the last night's wasn't terrible. But I can't do Luna. I'm bad at Luna. I can't do Luna's voice. With those words, Pinkie Pie toted the cake to the table with the With those words, Pinkie Pie toted the cake to the table the girls were seated at, a certainly delicious chocolate pastry with a plethora of lighted... That's not how you pronounce that, is it? Dang it, I knew it was plethora! Well, Tia, aren't you going to blow out your candles? Luna asked, with a devious smile of pain. She got a mouthful of melted candle wax to chew... Candle wax!